I saw you collapse on the inside long before anyone around you noticed. I saw the moment your spirit said, "I can't hold myself up anymore," and heaven itself grew silent to listen to the sound of your breaking. You think you're standing on the edge of failure, but I need you to hear me now. I'm standing on the edge with you. I felt the tremor in your chest. I felt the weight crushing your thoughts. I felt the fear tightening around your breathing. And with every silent tear you tried to hide, I drew closer. Closer than the ache, closer than the fear, closer than your own pulse. You are exhausted, not because you are weak, but because you have carried battles that were never meant to be fought alone. Listen to me. When your legs shake, mine do not. When your faith flickers, mine burns for you. When your voice is too tired to pray, my voice surrounds you. I have wrapped my strength around your collapse. I have placed my peace inside your storm. I have stood behind you when you could no longer stand for yourself. And right now, this very moment, I am rebuilding what life tried to break open in you. You are not unraveling. You are being held. You are not forgotten. You are being carried. You are not drowning. You are being lifted into the purpose I have already prepared for you. Feel my nearness press against your fear. Feel my touch steady your trembling. Feel my voice breaking through the walls your exhaustion built. I am here, I am not leaving. And when you cannot stand another second, I will sustain you with strength that does not run out. I have seen the weight you carry in the silence, the way your heart tightens when nothing seems to shift, the way your thoughts grow heavy when the days feel still, the way your hope trembles when the promise feels distant and unclear. You look at your life and whisper, "Lord, is anything happening at all?" And I need you to hear me now with the depth of your spirit. More is happening in the unseen than you have ever realized. The stillness around you is not empty. It is the sacred place where I shape what you cannot yet see. You think the silence means nothing is forming, but silence is where I build the foundations of destiny, slowly, steadily, precisely. There are movements happening beneath the surface of your life that your senses cannot detect. But I have been weaving timing, aligning purpose, strengthening your interior, preparing provision, and guiding you into a direction that will soon make sense. You call this season waiting, but in heaven it is called becoming. You have mistaken quiet for abandonment, but I am closest to you in the moments when everything else seems still. I am breathing peace into the cracks of your fear. I am placing strength into the places that feel empty. I am restoring hope inside you long before the promise becomes visible. And even though you feel tired, even though you feel stretched thin, even though you feel like your faith is flickering, your exhaustion is not a sign that the promise is fading. It is a sign that the promise is growing. Roots grow before branches rise. Foundations settle before walls stand. Destiny takes shape in the invisible long before it becomes undeniable. You think you are seeing nothing, but you are in the middle of my divine construction. Every moment you felt forgotten, I was securing what your future will depend on. Every sigh you released in frustration, I caught and turned into alignment. Every tear you thought fell unnoticed became part of the shaping I am doing inside you. If you saw everything at once, your heart would not yet be ready to carry it. So I work quietly, not to hide my hand, but to protect your promise until the moment it can safely rise. I am not slow. I am intentional. I am not distant. I am near enough to feel your heartbeat against mine. I am not silent. I am speaking through the calm, through the stillness, through the gentle pull you feel inside that keeps telling you not to give up. You are standing in a season where the promise is taking shape, not loudly, not suddenly, but deeply. And when the moment comes, you will see that nothing was wasted. Not a day, not a tear, not a prayer, not a single second of your waiting. I am forming what I promised you, and I am closer to finishing it than you realize. I know the weight you feel when nothing around you seems to move. But I need you to understand something holy, something deeper than your emotions, something your spirit has been sensing even when your mind cannot explain it. The silence has never been empty. You have been walking through days that look still, but stillness is where I carve the architecture of destiny. It is where I refine timing, where I prepare provision, where I align everything that must meet you at the exact moment your promise unfolds. You call this season delay, but it is actually alignment. Every pressure, every pause, every quiet moment has been positioning you for what is coming. There are things I am building inside you that will matter far more than the answer you are waiting for. Strength that will not collapse under weight, faith that will not fracture under pressure, peace that will not disappear when storms rise, and clarity that will anchor the purpose I am preparing to release. This is why the journey has felt heavier, why your emotions have felt stretched, why your faith has felt tested. You are not being punished, you are being shaped. The waiting season is not passive, it is formative. Your heart is being molded into a vessel capable of carrying what once would have crushed you. You have looked at your life and said, "Lord, I can't see anything happening." But you cannot see the roots growing beneath the soil either, and yet they are the most important part of the tree. You have felt tension rising inside you, the ache between hope and fatigue, the pull between faith and fear. But tension is the sign of transformation. Pressure is the doorway to expansion, and the exhaustion you feel is simply the weight of outgrowing the season you are standing in. I am not letting you fall apart. I am letting you unfold. And even though you feel moments of breaking, those are the very places where my healing enters, where my restoration begins, where my comfort wraps itself around your trembling thoughts, where my touch steadies what fear tried to shake. Nothing in this season is wasted. Not your questions, not your tears, not your longing for clarity, not your desire for direction, not the nights you wondered whether I still had a purpose for you. I've been building purpose in the background of your exhaustion. I have been aligning destiny in the shadows of your doubt. I have been preparing provision in the corners of your life you didn't even know needed me. And soon, very soon, you will recognize why the silence felt so heavy, because the promise I shaped in secret will emerge with a weight and beauty you were not capable of carrying before. You are not running out of time. You are stepping into timing. You are not losing strength. You are being sustained by mine. You are not drifting away from your destiny. You are being guided toward it with more precision than you can comprehend. Let your heart rest here. I have not forgotten you. I have not paused my plans for you. I have not withdrawn my hand from your future. I am closer now than at any moment in your journey. And the promise, the one you thought was fading, the one you feared had slipped away, is taking shape right now, quietly, powerfully, perfectly. Trust what I am building in the silence. And if my words have touched something tender inside you, write in the comments, "Jesus, I trust your work in the quiet." Let that declaration open the way for peace to rise within you again. I know the nights when you look up in the dark and whisper, "Lord, and please just show me something." Not because you lack faith, but because the weight inside your chest feels heavier than the strength you have left. Your heart isn't doubting me. Your heart is longing for reassurance, for a sign that your prayers are not disappearing into silence. I see the way your thoughts circle the same questions. I see the tremble behind your hope, the ache behind your patience, the quiet fear that maybe nothing is moving the way you believed it would. And even in those moments, the moments when your voice shakes, the moments when your faith feels thin, the moments when you wonder if you misheard me, I am closer to you than ever. You have asked me for proof, not because you want control, but because you want comfort. You want to know that I haven't stepped away, that my hands are still shaping your future, that my promise hasn't dissolved into delay. Listen to me. What I spoke over you has not changed. My timing is unfolding, even when the pace feels unbearably slow. My purpose is aligning, even when you see no visible sign. My direction for your life is still intact, even when you feel lost within your own emotions. You think you need proof to keep going? But what you truly need is awareness of my presence, the quiet certainty that I am beside you in every breath, every fear, every unseen step. There were moments when you felt me, gentle and unmistakable, a whisper in your spirit, a peace that came from nowhere, a sudden clarity in the middle of confusion. These were not coincidences. These were not your imagination. These were the touches of my nearness, the small movements you did not always recognize as evidence of my hand. Your heart wants visible confirmation, but many of my greatest works begin in shadows, in places your eyes cannot interpret yet. Proof is not always a sign in the sky. Sometimes it is the endurance you didn't know you had, the strength that rises when you expected to fall, the peace that holds you together when everything feels unstable. I am not ignoring your request for assurance. I am answering it in ways that grow you, not just soothe you. If I showed you everything now, your spirit would try to run ahead of my timing. So I give you what aligns with your becoming. Glimpses of hope, waves of calm, moments where my voice settles the confusion you couldn't solve alone. You have not missed me. You have not stepped out of my plan. You have not ruined what I am doing. You are simply walking through the part of the journey where trust grows deeper than sight and faith becomes stronger than feeling. And even when your heart aches for proof, I am holding you in a certainty far stronger than the one you seek. You are not walking in circles. You are walking toward fulfillment, guided, protected, carried. Let your heart rest here. I have not changed my mind about you, and I have not changed my promise to you. What I began, I am still perfecting, and nothing, not silence, not fear, not doubt, can stop what I have ordained for your life. I know the hidden places where your questions live, the quiet corners of your mind where doubt settles when you feel too tired to fight it, the fragile places in your heart where hope flickers as if it could vanish at any moment. You try to be strong, you try to believe, you try to silence the ache that rises when you see no visible change. But I see every struggle beneath the surface. You have asked me, is anything really happening? Is your promise still moving toward me? And I want you to understand this with a clarity that sinks deep into your spirit. My work does not stop simply because you cannot see it. There are shifts taking place in realms beyond your perception. There are alignments forming beneath the layers of your daily life. There are doors loosening that have not yet swung open. There are people being positioned, timing being refined, and pieces of your destiny being arranged with precision so exact that if I revealed it too soon, you would not yet understand its purpose. You think your desire for proof means your faith is weak, but it only means your heart longs for connection. Proof is not the opposite of faith. Proof is the longing for reassurance in the middle of exhaustion. And I do not judge you for that longing. I meet you in it. When you felt peace rise unexpectedly in a moment of panic, that was me. When direction stirred quietly in your spirit after days of confusion, that was me. When your strength returned after you thought you had reached your limit, that was me. When you sensed a gentle pull to keep going, even though nothing visibly improved, that was me shaping your inner endurance long before the outer breakthrough appeared. I am speaking constantly, sometimes through stillness, sometimes through whispers, sometimes through the very tension you wish would end. You expect proof to arrive in dramatic form, but often it arrives as a small shift in your heart, a calm you cannot explain, a clarity you did not create, a resilience that rises without reason. You are not losing your way. You are not failing me. You are not falling behind your destiny. You are being prepared for the fullness of what is coming, and preparation rarely feels like progress. I am strengthening the places inside you that will carry what you have prayed for. I am restoring what disappointment fractured. I am healing the wounds that would have weakened you later. I am lifting the weight that fear tried to place on your chest. You wanted proof of movement, but the greatest evidence is that you are still here, still reaching for me, still longing for my voice, still fighting to believe when you feel like collapsing. That persistence is not accidental. It is the echo of my spirit sustaining you. Do not measure my presence by what your eyes can see. Measure it by what your heart feels in the moments you should have broken but did not. Measure it by the strength that keeps returning, the hope that keeps resurfacing, the peace that keeps interrupting your fear. The promise is still alive. The timing is still unfolding. And even when your heart cries out for proof, I am answering you with something far greater, my constant nearness. You are not walking through this season alone. You are walking within the embrace of a God who has never taken his eyes off you for a single moment. I am with you. I am guiding you. And I will show you, in my perfect timing, that nothing has been wasted and everything has been leading you exactly where you are meant to be. I have watched you move through your days with a quiet ache beneath every step, the kind of ache that comes from waiting so long that you begin to wonder whether anything will ever shift again. Your routines have become familiar, almost mechanical. Your prayers have become softer, not because your faith is gone, but because your heart is tired of asking for what it has not yet seen. And still, something has been happening. Not loudly, not dramatically, not in the way you expected, but in the way my presence often moves when your soul is fragile enough to feel even the smallest touch. There was a moment recently, so brief, so gentle, you brushed past it without realizing its holiness. A moment where your heart felt lighter for a breath, where your mind cleared just enough to exhale, where peace brushed your spirit like a hand passing over water. That was me. It was not random. It was not coincidence. It was the first tremor of a promise beginning to unfold beneath the surface. Like Anna in the temple, you have been walking through a season where your surroundings appear unchanged, yet your spirit has remained watchful. She waited through years of silence, but she never let her attention drift from my presence. Because of that, she recognized me in an instant. Not through signs, not through noise, but through the subtle burning of recognition deep within her soul. That same recognition is awakening in you. You have been sensing me more than you realize. In the quiet pull toward hope after a day filled with discouragement, in the whisper of clarity after nights of confusion, in the unexpected calm that settles into your chest right when anxiety tries to rise again. These moments are not small. They are not accidental. They are evidence. The promise is not silent. It is emerging. Everything I am aligning begins first within you, before it breaks open around you. You feel shifts in your spirit long before your eyes see movement in your world. What you felt recently, that moment of unexplained peace, that flicker of renewed expectation, was the sound of destiny loosening its hinges. Do not dismiss what feels subtle. A whisper from me carries more power than 1,000 loud signs created to calm human fear. Small movements are the seeds of great fulfillment. They are the quiet beginnings of transformation. I move gently not to hide my presence, but to train your heart to recognize it. If you only look for me in the dramatic, you will miss me in the holy ordinary, the places where I slip into your awareness with tenderness strong enough to reshape your path. You didn't miss what I was doing. You felt it. You just didn't understand it yet. But you will, because what has begun inside you will soon reveal itself around you. The shift has already started. The promise is already stirring, and the movement you almost missed was the first sign that the waiting is beginning to break. There are moments when transformation begins so softly that your mind dismisses them as nothing at all. But I want you to look again, not with the eyes of fear, not with the weight of exhaustion, but with the awareness that I have already begun something inside you. You felt it. You felt the shift. Small, fragile, barely noticeable. You felt a flicker of hope rise for reasons you couldn't explain. You felt a sudden moment of calm interrupt thoughts that had been storming your mind for days. You felt clarity surface in a place that had been tangled in confusion for months. These were not emotions. These were indicators of my movements. Everything I release into your life begins as a whisper before it becomes a reality. Everything I align begins in your spirit before it becomes visible in your world. I do not always move with dramatic signs, not because I lack power, but because I am inviting you to develop sensitivity, the kind of awareness that feels me even when the world around you looks unchanged. Do not underestimate the importance of inner shifts. When your thoughts begin to quiet, that is me preparing your mind for direction. When your heart begins to soften, that is me making room for healing. When your hope rises unexpectedly, that is me restoring what disappointment damaged. When your strength returns after days of heaviness, that is me rebuilding you from within. These subtle movements are the early echoes of the breakthrough that is forming. You have wondered if you are imagining things, if your heart is only trying to comfort itself. But I tell you the truth. You are sensing the beginning of alignment. Destiny rarely announces its arrival with noise. It emerges through small confirmations, the kind that can be felt long before they can be seen. My presence has been brushing against you more frequently. My guidance has been stirring in places you thought were numb. My peace has been appearing in moments you expected to collapse. These are not random. These are not fleeting. These are signals that the promise is approaching the threshold of manifestation. Think of Anna again, faithful, patient, unwavering. She waited through years of silence, but she never let her spirit dull. Because she remained attentive, she recognized me in a moment others would have overlooked. She felt what they missed. She saw what they dismissed. She understood that greatness often arrives quietly. That same sensitivity is awakening in you. You are beginning to recognize what I am doing. Not because circumstances have changed yet, but because you have changed. Your spirit is more alert. Your heart is more open. Your awareness is more attuned. You are starting to hear me in places where fear once drowned out. My voice, this is the beginning of the unfolding. This is the first breath of fulfillment. This is the soft drumbeat beneath the surface of your life, announcing that something long awaited has begun to move. What you sensed was real. What touched you was divine. And what started in silence will soon grow into something undeniable. Stay attentive, stay open, stay aware. The small movement you almost missed was the first step toward everything I promised you. And if my words opened your eyes to the quiet ways I have been moving in your life, let your heart respond. Subscribe to this channel and leave a like, so my voice can continue reaching you in every moment you need strength, direction, and peace. I have seen the weight that settles on your shoulders when the waiting stretches longer than your strength. You try to tell yourself to stay calm, to stay hopeful, to stay steady. But inside, the pressure feels heavier than anything you expected to carry. You look at your life and whisper, "Lord, why is this taking so long?" But what you call delay, I call preparation. Waiting has never been a sign that I am far from you. Waiting is the place where I draw closest, not to test you, but to transform you. You see the stillness as a pause, but the stillness is where I strengthen what would collapse under the weight of what you are praying for. You want the promise quickly, but quickly would not shape you. Quickly would not deepen you. Quickly would not prepare you to carry the fullness of what I have planned. The waiting you hate is shaping the person your destiny requires. I know the fear that rises when time stretches. I know the discomfort that grows when you feel stuck between what I said and what you see. You begin to wonder if something went wrong, if you missed a step, if you misunderstood my voice, if the promise was never meant for you. But hear me with clarity. You did not miss my will. You did not fall out of my plan. You did not delay your destiny. Waiting is not punishment. Waiting is alignment. There are parts of your heart I am healing in the silence. There are pieces of your identity I am restoring in the stillness. There are wounds from your past that would break open if the promise arrived before your spirit was ready. There are strengths being built in you right now, strengths you don't even recognize yet, that will guard you when the next season unfolds. You think nothing is happening, but inside you, everything is changing. The weight you feel is not the weight of delay. It is the weight of becoming stronger, becoming clearer, becoming capable of carrying the calling I stitched into your spirit long before you took your first breath. You ask me, "Lord, why does it feel so heavy?" Because transformation has weight, healing has weight, purpose has weight, destiny has weight, and I never place that weight on you all at once. I strengthen you layer by layer, so when the fulfillment arrives, you do not break beneath its glory. I know you're tired. I know you feel stretched. I know you wake up some days wondering if the season will ever shift. But you have not been abandoned. You have not been overlooked. You are being held in the most intentional process of your life. When the time is right, the weight will lift. The doors will open. The clarity will appear. And you will realize that the waiting was not a pause, it was the path. I am working in the silence. I am moving beneath the surface. And the heaviness you feel is only the pressure of my hands reshaping your future. I know there are moments when the waiting feels so heavy that you begin to question your own strength. You wake up carrying a quiet exhaustion, not just in your body, but in your hope. You try to push forward, but the silence around you makes every step feel uncertain. Yet even in this place, I am working in ways you cannot yet see. You think the waiting means your story has stalled, but nothing in your life has stopped moving. You are in a process that is more delicate, more intentional, more necessary than you realize. The slowness you feel is not a sign of absence. It is the pace required for transformation. There are seasons when I move quickly, and seasons when I move deeply, and depth always requires time. You have asked me, Lord, why am I still here? Why hasn't anything shifted yet? But the shift often begins inside you, long before it becomes visible around you. Right now, I am refining your perception, strengthening your spirit, aligning your desires with the purpose I placed within you. I am teaching you to stand not on circumstances, but on my presence. I am shaping your heart to recognize me in ways you never could when everything was easy. If you look closely, you will notice that the waiting has already changed you. You are more aware, more dependent on my voice, more sensitive to my direction, more grounded in faith than you were before the delay began. You think the heaviness means you are getting weaker, but the truth is this: you are becoming stronger in places you didn't know needed strength. You are learning endurance. You are learning stillness. You are learning trust that goes beyond emotion. You are learning to breathe even when answers remain unseen. And this depth, this silent strengthening, will carry you when the promise arrives. If I gave you everything you prayed for right now, your spirit would not yet have the structure to sustain it. You would receive the blessing, but not the resilience required to keep it. So I prepare you the way a foundation is prepared for a great building, layer by layer, hidden but essential. Nothing about this season is wasted, not the tears, not the questions, not the nights you wondered if I was listening. Every moment has been forming you, stretching you, lifting you into a version of yourself that can carry what your destiny demands. When the waiting ends, and it will, you will step into the next season with a strength so rooted, so unshakable, that you will understand why I did not rush your process. You will see that the weight you felt was the weight of my hands preparing you, steadying you, protecting you from stepping into a future you were not yet ready to hold. Nothing is delayed. Nothing is lost. Nothing is behind schedule. Everything is unfolding with precision. Stay close to me. Stay open. Stay patient with yourself. You are not stuck. You are being shaped. And when the time comes, the doors that feel locked now will open with a grace so powerful that you will know the waiting was never a barrier. It was the bridge. I know the questions that rise inside you. Not the ones you speak out loud, but the ones that echo in the quiet places of your mind when no one is around to hear them. Is anything really happening? Did I misunderstand you? Am I praying for something that will never come? These thoughts have been circling your heart, pressing against your peace, making you wonder if your faith is slowly unraveling. But listen to me. Your questions do not offend me. They reveal your longing for clarity, your desire to stay aligned with my will, your hope that what you have believed for is still alive. You assume your uncertainty pushes me away, but it actually draws me closer, because it is in the moments when your confidence shakes that I anchor you the most deeply. You look at your life and see gaps, silence, unfinished pieces, doors that haven't moved in months. And from your perspective, it feels like nothing is happening. But from mine, everything is moving. I am working in angles you cannot see, timelines you cannot measure, connections you do not yet know exist. While you question, I am aligning. While you doubt, I am weaving. While you wait, I am preparing a path with a precision far beyond your understanding. Your questions come from the part of you that fears being disappointed again. I see the wounds from past seasons, times when you hoped and were met with delay, times when you trusted and felt let down, times when you prayed and heard only silence. Those memories taught you to expect little so your heart wouldn't break again. But I did not ask you to lower your expectations. I asked you to deepen your trust. Faith is not the absence of questions. Faith is choosing me in the middle of them. You wonder if your prayers are still effective, but prayer is not measured by emotion. It is measured by alignment. And every time your heart turns toward me, even in frustration, even in confusion, even in fear, you are aligning with my movement. You don't have to feel strong for me to act. You don't have to feel certain for me to move. You don't have to suppress your questions for me to fulfill what I promised. Your questions do not weaken my work. They simply reveal how much you long to see my hand, and I am working, even now, in the shadows of your doubt, in the corners of your uncertainty, in the cracks of your tired hope. I am building what will one day make sense. One day you will look back and realize that the questions you feared were actually the doorway through which deeper faith entered. I am not intimidated by your uncertainty. I am not slowed by your doubt. I am not threatened by your fear. My plans for you are stronger than your moments of weakness, and while you question, I continue shaping the future that will reveal just how present I was in every moment you thought I was still. I have watched you wrestle with thoughts that feel too heavy to speak aloud. There are nights when your mind becomes a battlefield, moments when you lie awake replaying every unanswered prayer, every delayed promise, every hope that felt like it slipped through your fingers. You wonder if your uncertainty has pushed me away, if your doubt has disqualified you, if your hesitation has slowed what I was preparing. But listen closely. Nothing in you has the power to sabotage what I have ordained. Your questions do not interrupt my work. Your doubt does not weaken my plans. Your human moments do not threaten the destiny I have crafted for you. I am not fragile, and my purpose for your life is not fragile either. You look at your uncertainty and see instability, but I look at your uncertainty and see honesty. I see a heart that wants to believe, even when it trembles. I see a spirit that reaches for me, even when exhaustion makes you feel numb. I see a child who wants to understand my timing, even when the waiting feels unbearable. Your questions are not a sign of faith that is failing. They are a sign of faith that refuses to give up. You continue coming to me even when your strength is low. You continue praying even when your hope feels thin. You continue listening for my voice, even when my silence stretches longer than you expected. That is faith, not loud, not confident, not polished, but real. I am working while you question, not in spite of your questions, but alongside them, because your questions open room for me to speak. Your weakness opens room for my strength to rise. Your uncertainty opens room for deeper trust to form. You have only seen the surface of your situation, but beneath the silence, beneath the confusion, beneath the disappointment, I have been rearranging things with extraordinary precision. I have been positioning people who will play roles in your next season. I have been opening doors you do not yet know exist. I have been removing obstacles you didn't realize were blocking you. I've been softening hearts, aligning resources, shifting timelines, and preparing opportunities that will meet you at the exact moment your spirit is ready. Nothing is wasted. Not your delays, not your doubts, not your tears, not your questions. You are being guided even when you feel lost. You are being held even when you feel anxious. You are being led even when you cannot perceive the direction. And one day, you will stand inside the very promise you questioned, and you will see how my hand never stopped moving. You will look back and realize the questions that felt like cracks in your faith were actually openings where my light entered. So do not be ashamed of your uncertainty. Bring it to me. Let me meet you in the tension between hope and fear. Let me show you that my presence is strongest exactly where your confidence is weakest. I am here, I am working, and I am guiding you toward a future that will make every unanswered question worth it. And if my words reach the places where your questions live, write in the comments, "Jesus, keep working in my life even when I don't understand." Let this be the declaration that opens your heart to my continued guidance. I want to show you something through Trevor's story, not because his path looks exactly like yours, but because the quiet breaking point he reached is the same place where your spirit has been standing. Trevor was a young man from Texas who carried the weight of waiting far longer than he ever expected. He prayed, he hoped, he pushed forward, but month after month, everything around him looked unmoved, unchanged, unresponsive. He reached a point where even getting out of bed felt like a battle. The silence felt endless. The stillness felt punishing. And deep inside, he whispered the words he was afraid to say out loud, "Lord, maybe nothing is ever going to shift for me." But what he couldn't see, what you also cannot always see, is that I often begin my greatest movements long before your eyes are capable of recognizing them. There came a morning when Trevor woke up feeling just as tired and unsure as the days before. Nothing looked different. Nothing felt different. But something subtle had begun the night he cried out in quiet despair. A door that had been sealed for years had finally started to loosen. He didn't hear it. He didn't feel it. He had no awareness that anything in heaven or earth had shifted. But in the stillness, in the silence, in the exact moment he thought his prayer dissolved into the air, my hand had touched the situation. That is how many of my breakthroughs begin. Not with noise, not with fireworks, not with immediate clarity, but with a gentle internal shift, a hidden movement, a hinge loosening before the door ever opens. Trevor's heart, though heavy, began sensing small changes inside him. He noticed strength returning in places that had been drained. He noticed peace rising in moments where anxiety once ruled. He noticed direction forming in the very areas he felt most lost. These were not coincidences. They were signs of alignment taking place beneath the surface. You may think this part belongs only to his story, but it belongs to yours too, because you, like Trevor, have been standing in front of a door that feels sealed shut. You have pushed, you have prayed, you have believed, and still it has not moved. Not visibly, not noticeably, not in the ways you hoped. But I tell you now, the door has begun to loosen. Not with a loud sound, not with a sudden swing, but with the invisible work of my hand opening what no effort of your own could move. This is how I often begin transitions, quietly, delicately, with a shift so soft it almost feels imaginary. But it is real. It is happening. And just as Trevor would soon discover, what begins quietly will eventually unfold undeniably. There are movements taking place around you that you cannot yet trace. Connections are forming. Conversations are aligning. Timelines are adjusting. Provision is gathering. Strength is rebuilding. Direction is sharpening. You may not see the evidence yet, but the process is already underway. What I loosen, no resistance can hold shut. What I prepare, no delay can destroy. What I begin, no force can stop. Trevor's story is not about him alone. It is a mirror I hold before you so you can see your own journey from the perspective of heaven. The door is loosening, and soon you will understand why it remained closed for so long and why it is beginning to move now. When the door of Trevor's life first began to loosen, he didn't sense the shift happening around him. He sensed the shift happening within him. And that is how my movements often begin. I prepare the heart before I reveal the path. I strengthen the foundation before I unlock the opportunity. I shape the soul before I open the door. Trevor started waking up with a strange kind of clarity, the kind that doesn't come from circumstances, but from my presence settling into quiet spaces of the mind. He began feeling drawn toward things he had once avoided, things that required courage he didn't think he had left. For reasons he couldn't explain, old fears began losing their grip, old doubts began to fade, old wounds felt less controlling. Hope, gentle, steady, persistent, began rising again. He didn't know it yet, but that internal restoration was the first proof that the external door was about to move. One afternoon, during a moment of deep discouragement, Trevor whispered, "Lord, I don't know if I can do this anymore." And though he felt alone in that moment, he wasn't. I was closer to him than the breath leaving his lungs, and I answered him not with a loud sign, but with a shift in direction, a thought that wasn't his, a peace that didn't match his circumstances, a sudden stirring to take one small step forward. That small step disrupted the atmosphere around him. It was enough to trigger the alignment I had been preparing behind the scenes. Within days, Trevor received a message from someone he hadn't spoken to in years. A message that would become the first link in a chain of events he never could have orchestrated on his own. One conversation opened the way to another. One connection led to a door he didn't know existed. And the door that had stayed shut for so long began to open without resistance. But the real miracle wasn't the opportunity. It was the transformation that made him ready for it. Because a door can open, but if the heart isn't prepared, the person will walk through it carrying the same burdens that kept them stuck before. So, in my mercy, I loosen doors slowly so that my people step into new seasons without dragging the old ones behind them. Trevor had been afraid that nothing was happening, But everything was happening. He simply wasn't aware of the scale of what I was putting into motion for him. And the same is true for you. Right now, there are conversations being arranged around your name that you know nothing about. There are hearts being moved to help you at the exact moment you will need it. There are opportunities forming that will meet you on the path I am guiding you toward. There are obstacles dissolving that once felt immovable. There are resources gathering that will support the weight of your next season. You may not feel it yet, but the breakthrough has already begun. Just as it happened for Trevor, your spirit is being strengthened, your mind is being prepared, your heart is being healed, your vision is being sharpened, and all of this is happening because the door that once resisted every prayer has started to loosen under the pressure of my hand. You are closer than you think, not because of striving, not because of timing you can calculate, but because of alignment, a divine orchestration unfolding in the unseen. And when the door finally opens, you will realize that every moment of waiting was part of the architecture of the miracle I am building around you now. I have watched the way hope has faded in you, not all at once, but slowly, quietly, like a candle burning low in a room no one enters anymore. You didn't choose to lose your hope. It slipped from your hands while you were busy surviving days that felt heavier than your strength. You kept going, kept trying, kept fighting through exhaustion that no one else could see. And somewhere in that quiet battle, your hope began to dim. Not because you lacked faith, but because you were tired. Tired in places deeper than your own understanding. But hear me now. Hope never dies in my presence. It only rests until I breathe on it again. There have been moments recently, small, soft, barely noticeable, when something inside you began to stir again, a feeling you couldn't explain, a calm that made no sense, a moment where your heart lifted just slightly, as if remembering something it had forgotten. That was me, gently reawakening what exhaustion tried to bury. Hope does not always return as fire. Sometimes it returns as a whisper strong enough to remind you that you are not as lost as you think, not as empty as you feel, not as forgotten as your fear suggests. There are parts of you thought were too damaged to feel hope again, but I am touching those places, softly, carefully, because the hope I restore doesn't flicker in the wind of circumstance. It grows from my presence inside you. You have been measuring hope by emotion, but hope is not an emotion. Hope is a signal from your spirit that something I promised is still on its way toward you. Hope begins to rise when your heart senses movement before your eyes can see it. You think you're imagining this gentle renewal, but you're not. Your spirit is responding to what I've already begun in the unseen. The atmosphere around your life is shifting, and your heart feels it first. This return of hope is not accidental, not random, not temporary. It is a sign, a soft, quiet sign, that the season you feared would never change is beginning to turn in your favor. It doesn't matter how broken you feel. It doesn't matter how long you've waited. It doesn't matter how many times disappointment left you empty. When I restore hope, I restore it with power. And this gentle rising inside you, is the first breath of a new strength forming within your soul. Let it come. Let it rise quietly. Let it grow without pressure. You do not have to force hope to return. I am the one lifting it in you. And soon you will see why I revived hope before I revealed the breakthrough. Hope is rising in you again, even if you barely recognize it. It isn't loud, it isn't dramatic. It isn't the explosive kind of hope you once carried when you were full of energy and dreams. No, this hope is quieter, softer, more mature. It is the kind of hope that grows in the dark before the dawn breaks, the kind that emerges not from your strength, but from mine. You may think this small stirring is fragile, that it could collapse with one more disappointment. But what's rising in you now is not the old version of hope. It is hope rebuilt from my presence, hope rooted in my faithfulness, hope strengthened by every moment you survived when you thought you wouldn't make it through. I am not restoring hope just so you can feel better for a moment. I am restoring it because hope is the bridge between where you stand and where I am taking you. When your hope awakens, your heart becomes capable of recognizing the shifts I am placing around you. You begin to see possibilities where you once saw walls. You begin to feel my nearness where you once felt abandoned. You begin to sense direction even while your surroundings still look uncertain. This renewed hope is evidence that the promise you've been carrying is drawing closer to manifestation. I have been lifting you from inside, not with sudden leaps, but with a slow, steady restoration that builds a foundation no storm will be able to break again. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to pretend you're stronger than you feel. You don't need to rush the healing. I am doing something deep, layer by layer, breath by breath, moment by moment, and the gentleness you feel is not weakness, it is precision. It is the exact pace required to restore you without overwhelming you. There are situations you will soon revisit and realize they no longer break you the way they once did. There are memories losing their power. There are fears shrinking in the presence of this new strength. There are pieces of you coming back to life that you didn't think would ever feel warm again. This is what it feels like when the season of heaviness begins to lift. This is what it feels like when the heart starts to breathe again. This is what it feels like when I begin aligning your spirit with the future I prepared for you long before you understood your purpose. The hope rising in you is the proof that you are entering a turning point. You are not the same person who entered this waiting season. You are stronger, you are softer, you are deeper. You are becoming someone capable of carrying the fulfillment without collapsing under its weight. Trevor felt this same gentle return of hope just before everything shifted in his favor, and now you are feeling it because the atmosphere of your life is beginning to change as well. Let this hope continue to grow. It is my voice inside you, reminding you that you are not forgotten, that the story is not over, and that something beautiful is beginning to rise beneath the surface of your days. And soon, what you feel quietly within will bloom loudly around you. And if my words awakened something gentle and alive within you, write in the comments, "Jesus, let hope rise in me again." Let this be your declaration of restoration. I have seen the pressure surrounding you. Not only the pressure outside you, but the pressure within you. The weight that presses against your chest as if the world is narrowing around your hopes. You have wondered why the struggle has intensified, why emotions you thought you healed from have resurfaced, why uncertainty seems louder now than in previous seasons of waiting. But hear me with clarity. Pressure is not a sign that the promise is drifting away. Pressure is a sign that the promise is drawing near. When something begins to align in the spiritual realm, your heart feels it long before your circumstances reveal it. And the closer you come to fulfillment, the more the tension increases. Not to harm you, but to stretch your capacity so you can carry what I am about to place in your hands. Pressure is the final shaping before breakthrough. You have felt pulled in different directions. Your faith calling you forward, your fear trying to pull you back, your hope rising, your doubt whispering, your spirit strengthening, your mind battling to keep up. You feel split between who you were and who you are becoming. But this inner conflict is evidence that transformation is actively happening inside you. You are not failing, you are evolving. I am aligning pieces of your destiny that have taken years to prepare. Connections, timing, resources, healing, clarity, direction, all of these threads are coming together, and your spirit senses the movement even before your eyes can see the pattern. That is why the pressure feels unfamiliar. It is the pressure of transition, the stretching that occurs when your spirit begins stepping out of an old season while your circumstances have not yet caught up. This tension is not meant to break you. It is meant to refine you. I am strengthening your discernment so you can recognize doors that are truly from me and walk past those that are not. I am sharpening your vision so you do not mistake distractions for opportunities. I am grounding your identity so that when the blessing arrives, you will not question whether you deserve it. You will simply receive it with confidence. You keep asking, "Lord, why does this feel so heavy?" Because glory has weight, calling has weight, purpose has weight, destiny has weight. And I am ensuring you have the spiritual structure to carry what you once prayed for without collapsing beneath it. Pressure is not punishment. Pressure is preparation. It is the womb of breakthrough. The tightening that signals birth is near, the final resistance before release. Even creation groans before new life emerges. Why would your destiny be any different? You have been interpreting the pressure as a sign that something is wrong, but I tell you now, the pressure is the confirmation that something is right. The promise is not slipping away. It is approaching. It is aligning. It is strengthening in the unseen until it becomes undeniable before you. And while you feel stretched, I am holding every part of you that feels uncertain. I am steadying the places that shake. I am calming the storms within your thoughts. I am reminding your spirit that nothing is out of order and nothing is off track. The pressure is simply the shadow cast by a promise that is closer than you realize. Stay present. Stay open. Stay anchored in my presence. You are not breaking down. You are breaking through. And soon, the weight you feel today will make sense when you step into the fullness of what I have been preparing for you all along. I have been guiding you toward a season you were created for long before you understood your own calling. There are moments when you look at your life and wonder if you have somehow wandered too far, waited too long, broken too deeply, or changed too much to still step into the future I designed for you. But hear me now with the full weight of my truth. You cannot miss what I have written into your destiny. You are stepping into what was always yours. Nothing, not delay, not fear, not uncertainty, not detours, has the power to erase what I have ordained. You think you are trying to find your purpose, but purpose has been finding you. You think you are searching for direction, but direction has been shaping you. You think you are fighting your way toward alignment, but alignment has been unfolding beneath your steps. I have been preparing you in ways that felt invisible, but invisibility does not mean inactivity. Every season, every ache, every prayer, every step forward and every step backward has been woven together to form the exact person you needed to become for what is coming next. You are not entering a random moment. You are entering fulfillment. There are things inside you that didn't exist before this journey began. Wisdom shaped by waiting, strength forged through pressure, discernment refined by disappointment, compassion born from the wounds you survived, resilience awakened from storms that should have broken you. These qualities are not leftovers from your battles. They are the keys that unlock your next season. You are stepping into a chapter that requires everything I've been building within you. A chapter where clarity will replace confusion, where alignment will replace chaos, where direction will replace wandering, where purpose will rise like something you've known all along, but only now are ready to embrace. You have been afraid that your mistakes disqualified you, but I tell you the truth. Your mistakes have only deepened your capacity to walk in what is yours. You have been afraid that the waiting weakened you, but the waiting strengthened your roots. You have been afraid that your failures defined you, but your failures refined you. You have been afraid that your broken moments ruined the story, but those moments have made you more able to carry what I am placing before you. You are not stepping into something new, you are stepping into something true. This was always meant for you. Not for a better version of you, not for a stronger version of you, not for someone more spiritual or more perfect. For you, exactly as you are, shaped by everything you've walked through, softened by everything that once hardened you, strengthened by everything that once weakened you. You have sensed the shift internally, the gentle pull, the quiet readiness, the subtle courage rising where fear once controlled you. These are not emotional waves. They are spiritual indicators that the timing of heaven is aligning with the readiness of your heart. There will come a moment, sooner than you expect, when you will look at your life and realize that nothing was wasted. Not the silence, not the sorrow, not the delays, not the detours, not the nights you thought I was far away. All of it has been leading you here, to the threshold of what has always belonged to you. Do not be afraid of outgrowing old versions of yourself. Do not fear the doors that close behind you. Do not question the clarity rising inside you now. Growth is not abandonment, it is arrival, and you are arriving. You are stepping into a season where my purpose will not just guide you, it will surround you. Where my alignment will not just support you, it will carry you. Where my provision will not just sustain you, it will overflow around you. You are not stepping into chance, you are stepping into destiny. You are stepping into design. You are stepping into the life your spirit has always known was waiting, and I am walking with you into everything that was always meant to be yours. You have come farther than you realize, farther than your fear tells you, farther than your exhaustion suggests, farther than the doubts that whisper you're running in circles. You look at your life and see a long road, but from where I stand, you are standing at the edge of a turning point that has been forming quietly beneath every step you've taken. You think you are barely holding on, but you are closer to breakthrough than at any other moment in your journey. There is a unique heaviness that settles over the heart right before everything shifts, the heaviness you feel now, not because you are doing something wrong, but because you have reached the final stretch of a season that demanded everything inside you. You have felt waves of resistance, waves of fatigue, waves of questioning that seem to come out of nowhere. But these waves are not signs of collapse, they are signs of transition. Just before dawn, the night always feels the coldest. Just before a seed breaks the soil, the pressure inside the ground becomes the strongest. Just before a door swings open, the hinge carries its greatest tension. And just before a promise becomes visible, your spirit feels stretched to its very limit. This is not coincidence. This is pattern. This is spiritual architecture. This is the rhythm of breakthrough. You have been walking faithfully even when nothing around you affirmed your progress. You have prayed through silence, believed through confusion, and continued moving forward when your emotions wanted to give up. And now, heaven is leaning toward you. Circumstances are shifting behind the scenes. Pieces are falling into place in ways you cannot yet see. What felt like stagnation has actually been synchronization. You are approaching a moment where clarity will rush in, where alignment will become obvious, where provision will appear unexpectedly, where doors that resisted you for years will open with ease. But the enemy of destiny often whispers the loudest when you are inches away from breakthrough. He wants you tired. He wants you unsure. He wants you to stop walking right before everything unfolds. But listen to me. Do not stop now. You are not at the beginning of your journey. You are not in the middle. You are standing at the intersection where the weight of your past season meets the birth of your next one. This is the moment where perseverance becomes victory. This is the moment where faith becomes fulfillment. This is the moment where waiting becomes arrival. Everything you've endured has prepared the foundation beneath your feet. Nothing was wasted. Not the tears, not the confusion, not the delays, not the heartbreaks. Every moment has shaped you into someone who can carry the blessing without breaking beneath its glory. Feel this truth settling into your spirit. The pressure you feel is the final confirmation that the promise is near. You are closer than you think, closer than your doubt believes, closer than your fear imagines, closer than your exhaustion perceives. Hold steady, breathe, take one more step. You are about to walk into a season that will make your endurance worth every second. And when it comes, you will understand why I would not let you give up here. And if my voice has given strength to your tired heart today, let this moment be a reminder that you are not walking alone. Subscribe to this channel and leave a like, so I can keep reaching you with my guidance every time your spirit needs direction, peace, and hope. I have walked beside you through every chapter that felt too heavy, every moment when you feared you were falling behind, every night when your heart tried to hold on to promises that seemed too distant to believe in anymore. You have carried questions. You have carried silence. You have carried seasons of waiting that felt longer than your strength and deeper than your understanding. But now, as you stand here with me, I want you to see what I have seen all along. You were never moving backward. You were being shaped. You thought the stillness was empty, but it was the room where I rebuilt you. You thought the pressure meant you were breaking, but it was the sign that destiny was forming. You thought the waiting meant the promise was drifting away, but the waiting was the place where the promise grew roots strong enough to withstand everything ahead. Nothing in you has been wasted. Not the tears you hid in the dark. Not the prayers you whispered when you were out of words. Not the doubts that made you feel small. Not the exhaustion that made you feel weak. All of it has shaped your spirit into someone capable of carrying what I am about to unfold. You are stepping into a season where clarity will begin to take form around you, where doors will respond to the pressure of my hand, where your heart will recognize movement long before your eyes see it. You are approaching a moment where everything that felt scattered will begin to align in ways that reveal how intentional my timing has always been. What you feel rising inside you now, the quiet hope, the softened fear, the gentle strength that wasn't there before, is the confirmation that your story is shifting. You are not walking into something random. You are walking into something prepared, something timed, something that has been carrying your name from the beginning. Let your heart rest here. I have not forgotten you. I have not overlooked you. I have not placed you on the outskirts of destiny to watch others receive what you longed for. I have been preparing you deeply, patiently, intentionally, so that when fulfillment arrives, you will not fear it, you will not doubt it, you will not question whether it belongs to you. You will recognize it because your spirit has been shaped for this exact moment. Now come into prayer with me. Draw near. Let everything else fade. Every worry, every noise, every heavy thought. Let my presence fill the spaces inside you that felt empty for too long. I place my hand over your heart and I quiet the storms within it. I breathe peace into the places where anxiety once made its home. I restore strength into the chambers weakened by waiting. I heal the wounds that made you question your own worth. I lift the weight that has pressed against your spirit for far too long. You are not fragile in my hands. You are being rebuilt. You are being renewed. You are being realigned with purpose that has never stopped moving toward you. Walk with me now. Let me guide your next breath, your next step, your next decision. I am with you, completely, faithfully, endlessly, and I will finish every good thing I began in your life. Amen. And if you feel my presence stirring something inside you right now, let your heart stay open and attentive. Watch the video on the screen, and let me continue speaking to you through the message unfolding there. I am not done guiding you. I am only beginning to reveal what is taking shape.